Looking to transform your family game nights? At Perfectly Picked Games, we specialize in family games that bring everyone closer. Our games aren't just fun. Kids and teens will learn how to take turns, develop basic strategy skills, and understand the thrill of winning and grace of losing. With our exclusive gift of games, you can give months of gaming excitement to your family. Choose a 3-month or 6-month gift, and we'll deliver hand-picked family games to your doorstep every month. And here's the best part. Right now, you can use the promo code GOLDENMOJO and receive 20% off your selected plan. Don't miss out on this exclusive offer. Use promo code GOLDENMOJO and save 20% today at Perfectly Picked Games.
Hello, all you paranormal freaks. It's the last Saturday of the month, and you know what that means. The veil is at its thinnest. So if you're brave enough, all of you hitchers and drifters, load up for a ride with Golden J and Logan as they traverse to the other side.
Hello, all of my paranormal freaks out there. It is I, Golden J, hanging out with
his co-host and future ghost, just Logan.
It's just Logan.
It's just Logan.
What's up, buddy?
Not a whole lot, man. Just happy to be sitting down talking to you. It feels like it's been a while.
I was thinking the exact same thing. It actually feels like forever since we've done the other side.
But, I mean, technically, we did one not too far ago because we did the 100th. We did that live.
That is true.
But the other side is coming a little bit late because of Logan. But on this way, we get to cover everything that was in January, so.
This is true. We didn't miss the last week. But, yeah, Logan was sick last week when we were going to set up our normal recording. And we decided that we can go ahead and push it back 1 week and make sure we get all of January and go from there.
And you guys don't happen to listen to gross mouth noises, so.
Although I'm a little stuffy, so you may get some a little bit.
That's fair, just a little bit. It's better than a lot, though.
I texted him. I'm like, "Hey, you ready for this?" And he's like, "Dude, I just got out of bed. I've been in bed for like 3 days."
I didn't even know it was like I didn't know what day it was. I completely spaced on it. And then today's my first day back to work because I've also been burning vacation days because my vacation rolls over in February.
Oh, right on.
So I worked Monday, then I was off Tuesday and Wednesday, and I worked today and Friday. And so I keep thinking today's fucking Monday.
And it's crazy how that works out, isn't it?
Yeah, it just got me completely thrown off. I never use my vacation time, so it always comes to like the last bit of the roll around time, and I just have to burn it on weird, stupid days. Yeah.
Well, doesn't that like totally mess you up though? I mean,
yeah.
I mean, you're burning it in, well, it might be different being in Texas. It's a little bit warmer, but
well, my thing is where I work, we can't use our vacation days during summer.
Oh, that's true because you guys are just too damn busy.
Yeah, there's only 3 of us at that warehouse, so it's just not a thing. So there's certain months where I can use it, and certain months when I can't. So it is what it is.
Well, as of this recording, today is February 1st.
Yep.
And you know what that means? It is the month of Golden J.
Oh yeah, it's your birth month, huh? Whole month.
I do nothing but celebrate the entire month.
Well, if you think about it, surprised.
Do what?
I don't think anybody that listens to this podcast is surprised that you celebrated for a whole month.
Our wedding anniversary is next week, and then Valentine's Day, and then the week after that is my birthday. So I mean, it really is the month of Golden J.
That's fair. I mean, and the rocker chick, she is included in 2 of those 3 things: Valentine's Day and anniversary. How many years are we talking now?
Are you ready for this?
Let's hear it.
32.
So you guys have been married as long as I've been alive.
I
turned 33 in May, so when you guys
See,
got married,
you go.
yeah, I was, yeah, so yeah.
I do believe, you were I remember you being at our wedding, so.
Nice. Why would you invite a baby to a wedding? That just sounds like
Well,
work.
you got to think about it. By that time, you were almost one. I
That's
mean,
fair.
um,
Probably still is just as noisy.
I think your sister was our flower girl.
Huh.
Yeah. I mean, it's so funny to think back. I ran into this girl at work, and we were, it's one of those things where I go into this office, and it's an older lady that sits right there in the door that I become friends with, and every day she demands a joke. She goes, "What's your joke of the day?"
Oh goodness.
And they're horrible. They're just dad jokes. Um, Basically because the doorway that goes out into the patient lobby for this particular office is right there, and you don't. I'm not a quiet person. My voice does carry, so I always make sure that all my jokes are, respectful for everybody. I mean, I've got jokes that are absolutely terrible.
Yeah, that's fair.
So all these jokes are just really bad dad jokes, and so this nurse comes out, and she always wants to hear the joke too, and we get to talking. Well, come to find out, she graduated with Montana, or
Oh
no,
wow.
she was like a year or two ahead of Montana, or something to that effect. But it's right in that same genre, from the same school, and of course, that was the same school I went to, and come to find out that. I used to hang out with her uncles and brothers and, for Little League. And it is just a crazy, every day is like, so do you know this person? I'm like, yeah, I know that person.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's crazy insane. So it's fun to think back to, all the stuff we did back we got married in 1992.
Yeah, it would have been 92 because I was born
Yep.
in 91. So yeah,
Yep.
you would have been born married in 92.
Yep. So, I mean, it's fun to think back to all those things we did back then, and what we're doing now compared to, what we all did back then. And
1992. How old were you when you got married?
I was not quite, what was I? I wasn't 19 yet. I think I was still only 18.
Well, what year was your graduating class?
I graduated in 91.
91. So yeah,
Yeah.
you'd been like 19, maybe 18.
I was 18 when we
18,
got
there you go.
married. I think I
Nice.
just turned 19. So, 2 weeks later.
Think about all the people that thought your young ass getting married would never work out.
Oh, man.
And here you are.
Here I am. The troublesome thing is that group of friends, there was Scott, Craig, Eric, Aaron, that group of friends, there was, 5 or 6 of us that all got married at almost the exact same time. And only 2 of us actually are still married.
Yeah, well, that's fair. That's a lot of young people getting married. I feel like that has kind of like feathered out nowadays. Like I feel like people get married a lot later in life.
Oh, I agree with you 100%. It's like you guys are all waiting.
Mm-hmm. To be fair, your nephew did get married at the ripe age of like 20, like a dipshit, to somebody he should have never married. I was married. You've been married forever. I was married in less than 4 months. So I always forget it too. I completely forget that I ever was. So
you guys were only married for 4 months?
yeah.
I guess I thought it was over a year. I really did. I didn't realize it was that short. But
no,
hey, you did better than Britney Spears. That's all that matters.
I don't want to be measured against Britney Spears. She's been married a lot more than me, but she's done a lot more too. So
well, then there's
Britney,
that.
bitch.
Hey, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, it's best to not saddle yourself to somebody and just suffer through it just cause, It is
I had
what
a
it is.
conversation. I had a conversation with a lady one time that she was miserable in her marriage. They've been married 6 or 7 years or something like that, and she was miserable. And I said, well, why? Why are you still married? And she's like, oh, because the kids. And I said, that is the worst possible excuse that you could ever get for staying married.
I completely agree, because that just exposes your kids get to watch you be miserable.
Yeah.
Because like you can only cover that stuff so far, and that's just gonna mess up their thoughts on marriage and what they think is okay that flies.
Yep.
So like it's I get thinking of the concept of like it's for the kids so they can have both their parents around, but do they really need both their parents around all the time if both their parents are going to be miserable and affect their adult lives when it comes around to it? It's best for your kids to see you as legitimately as happy as possible, so they can know what they should have when they get older and who they should.
And I think that if you bring that into your household, that not being happy, and they see it, and then it overflows into them.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you're miserable with them, and they're not happy, and
then when you finally do it, when they're in their mid-20s or early 30s, and then you're like, well, and they're like, why'd you stay so long? You're like, well, for you. Then they're like, oh, that's great. My mom fucking hated her life for 18 plus years because she thought that's what I needed, and then they'll blame themselves. So
yeah, it's just not a good thing. But
pull that ripcord when you need to, man.
Yeah. I can never say I've been happy for 32 years, so I've never thought about bailing out. So
I can honestly say, like, I met Kayla in high school. I dated her in high school for all of, 2 weeks, right? We dated for 2 weeks in high school. And then we got back together. It's almost 5 years now that we've been together. And
holy cow.
Yeah. And I can honestly say that to all the listeners out there, Logan has always been a shit significant other throughout his whole life until now. I 110% own that. Like, I think it takes the right person to help you become the best person you can be. And they don't make you become it. They make you want to be better.
Right.
Because I know for a fact I was a shit significant other my whole life. 112%. And I own that. But with her, it's completely different. I enjoy it. She's my best friend. Before then, I wanted to do things with just my friends and like by myself. Right. And I like doing things by myself now. Now, every time I want to do something, I want to do it with her. I want her to be with me. And if she's not with me, I'm like, this could be better.
A few years ago, that was, this has been, 10, 15 years ago. Like I said, I've been happy for 32 years, but I decided to take a motorcycle trip, and I was going to go down to see your grandfather in Kentucky. And then I was going to head down to Georgia and see Donnie, because that's where he was stationed at, was in Fort Benning. And then me and him were going to take off and come over and see your mom and dad. And then we would split off and I would ride home. And I remember I was probably 6 hours away from home. And I remember thinking, why am I doing this by myself? Bobbi really should be with me, and that's that point where you realize how much you don't want to be away from them, and it kind of sinks in. The other part of that is that a lot of female friends at where I work at, and to listen to them bitch about their husbands and their boyfriends and stuff, you learn a lot of things not to do.
That's fair.
It's like, should never fucking do that. There we go.
Yeah, I don't get none of that womanly insight at my job. I work with 2 dudes, so
yeah. Well, you're not missing a whole hell of a lot, but
Well, I come home and I'm surrounded with nothing but women. I'm outnumbered here 3-1. So I guess the only dudes I have here are all cats, and all their balls are gone. So
what's funny is J-Dub was talking about that with S-Dub, that he is surrounded by pretty much all female, between her and all of their animals are like 90% of the animals are all female. He's just like, I'm just outnumbered.
I'm just used to it because my dad was gone a lot growing up with the army and everything and all that jazz and constantly working. So I was always just in a house with 2 women. So
oh, it could be worse. Could be like a whole house full, or like it could be like 30 nuns. You could have grown up with 30 nuns, and
I probably would have been hit just as much. So
oh yeah. So anything else exciting going on down there?
not a whole lot, really. I mean, not as far as nothing comes to mind. Just like the same shenanigans, just work, and then every now and then some beer pong with my buddies, and just managing Power Ranger social media stuff. I've got a convention I'm going to on the 10th. I think that's about it,
Well, I'd like to tell you there's a bunch of exciting things going on up here, but it's just pretty much all Golden Mojo entertainment business we've been trying to
Yeah, no,
wrangle
you got
around.
a bunch going on. You talked about it today on the episode about future plans for Murd Nerds and all that. So you guys definitely got some more stuff coming up. I'll be happy to have another one to listen to.
Let's hope that the old Golden J can do it justice.
So you're still, I've seen that you have the rocker chick talking about coming in every now and then and covering something, and J-Dub was throwing herself on those tracks too.
Absolutely. The idea that I have is that we're going to release 4 to 5 episodes of a particular cold case, and we're going to do that 4 to 5 times a year, depending on how the research goes and and recording schedules and doing all that. But I want to do 5 episodes on one single cold case, and then release it all at one time, and then you get a chance to binge all that in one shot, and then a couple months later we'll do another one.
That sounds good.
The thing is that I promised the rocker chick that I would do all the research and have a story written for her, and then she can go in and read it. And, we can just do that as far as recording. Yeah, that way she doesn't have to do a bunch of research and get bogged down with that. J-Dub, I'll do the same thing, but she's wanting to do some of the research on it. So I'm excited for that too. So it'll take a little bit of the pressure off of me there, but
Yeah, it is a very different venture from what we normally deal with. Because, like, with our paranormal stories, like, don't get me wrong, some of the paranormal ones can be rough. Like, some of the exorcisms Brandon covered, some of the stuff I covered with families, like, some of it can be really dark. But, like, the digging deep into murder, and especially with the Murd Nerds, I don't know how you guys are going to do it, but they originally covered unsolved cases, which is, it's rough because you don't get that added boost of, and then they got the bastard and this
Right.
and that, so it can, I know for a little while there, it took its toll on the girls back in the day because it's just researching the bleak over and over again.
Absolutely. But to be honest, that's what I loved about the Murd Nerds, was that it was unsolved cases, and you got a chance to listen to the story and kind of piece it together as the story's being told. And, then you can kind of come up with your own idea of what you think that, well, let me ask you, did they cover this? Did they look at that? And like, you can, if you're doing the research, you can dig deep into that.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody has their fucking Sherlock Holmes moment where they're like, by God, Watson, I've figured it out.
Absolutely. And, like I said in one of the episodes, I solved like 95% of those cases before we
Absolutely.
were done recording.
I
so.
felt the same way, too. And any excuse to watch Forensic Files, I'll fucking take, man. I love that show.
That and Unsolved Mysteries
I
and
love Unsolved Mysteries. I have that on
America's Most Wanted.
I have Unsolved Mysteries theme song on my favorites playlist on Spotify. So every now and then while I'm in the kitchen cooking, It goes from playing like Bon Jovi, and the next thing you know, it's the Unsolved Mysteries theme song just fucking coming in. Absolutely love it, because you get a murder case one week, and then the next week it's like, did these aliens really steal Bill's fucking mail from his mailbox? And
Absolutely.
that's good shit. Now, that is a dream job. I would love to be a host on a show like that, where I just get to sit there and just do like a little, like 6-7 minute like intro, and then a few pieces in between, and that's it. I'd be the guy that everybody goes to sleep listening to at night. They're like, I want to go to bed. I'm going to listen to Strange Happenstances with Logan as the host.
I do the same thing with Josh Gates. I can't watch Josh. I love watching Josh Gates. I think he's great. But you cozy up on the couch or in the chair, and you flip it on, and 25 minutes into this episode, this hour-long episode, I'm fucking snoring like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah,
it's his voice, man. It just puts me down, and I really should just tune him in before I go to bed, and I think it'd be great.
That's what I do. I either I can do that with. I mean, realistically, I can fall asleep to anything. It drives Kayla insane, because she didn't have that before she had to start sharing a bed with me. But like I'll put on Friends, put me out. Forensic Files, it'll put me out. Unsolved Mysteries, it'll do it. It's just certain theme songs, because all that was late night television when I was growing up.
Right.
So if it comes on, I'd just be like, I start to get drowsy and I can go to sleep to it. Or if a certain episode comes on, I'll stay up because I just like, oh, this is a good one. And next thing I know, it's 3 hours later and I'm still not asleep.
Mine is I can do it to TikTok. I found myself again waking up with the same fucking TikTok video still playing over and over and over again last night. But MASH is another one that I can flip on and just doze off to.
It was the other day. Me and Kayla were about to play HeroClix, which is just like a game with miniatures of superheroes, and you fight each other. And I'm sitting here in this exact chair, and I've got a video open of this guy explaining me the rules to a certain like thing in the game. And my ass, sitting up in this chair, holding this in my phone, keeps falling asleep. And then I wake up, and I don't know that she's seen me fall asleep, and then I'll fucking rewind the video. I'm like, I missed all this. I rewind it again, and next thing I know, I fall asleep again, and I fucking rewind the video again. It just kept doing it.
So we actually recorded episodes, I don't know, 106 and 107 last night, and one of those episodes was mine. And back to my what I've been kind of doing, a place, and then a couple places inside of this place or whatever. And what I was looking for is I wanted firsthand what's the word I'm looking for?
Firsthand experiences, accounts.
Firsthand experiences from each one of these places. And I'd had such luck with it with like the Hat Man, finding stuff on Reddit. So I'm like, this will be great. I'll explain a little bit about the house or the fort or whatever, whatever it was in there. And then I'll get some firsthand experiences and I'll tell a story. And so I was digging and digging and digging and digging. And I still was digging an hour before we started recording because and I'm sitting right here, and I've got the laptop up and I've got the thing up, and I'm sitting like this, and I'm reading, and the next thing I know, I wake myself up snoring.
Yeah.
It's like, damn it. Bobby's in there laughing at me.
There's a certain point where you hit that wall to where like you could just watch it over and over again and you don't fucking retain jack shit.
Yep.
Because your brain's just like, yo dog, we need to clock out. And you're like, nah, I'm gonna rewind it. And you're like, why is none of this fucking sticking at all?
It's terrible.
It is. It's bad.
Yeah. I can't think of anything else. How about those Chiefs going to the Super Bowl, baby?
I was about to bring that up. I sent you like 2 links to merchandise.
Yep.
The other day, I did not send you the Uno cards that Mattel was also putting out.
Holy shit! Really?
Yeah, and everything they put out, there is. Was it the 49ers?
Yes.
going. Yeah, everything they're putting out, there's a 49ers equivalent beside it.
Right on.
So, you could pre-order you a 49ers Barbie, and if they lose, you're still going to have that 49ers. Like, I guess they still went to the Super Bowl. But they put out the Barbie, they put out the Uno, they put out the Little People, which has your boy Mahomes and Taylor Swift's buddy.
Travis
the box
Kelce.
too. Yeah, Travis Kelce. There you go. Listen,
Yeah,
us non-football people just refer to it as Taylor Swift's boyfriend. I don't even know if that's. I don't even know if are they really dating?
Are they really? Yeah.
Or are they
really,
just friends? I didn't know if they're dating if they're first friends.
No. But well, like you said, you're not a football guy, so you missed out when he was. And so the AFC Championship game, they win. They collect their trophy, and then he goes down, and now you're getting clips of him walking up to her, and the lip lock and the "I love you" and the whole 9 yards.
Oh,
and
God.
all the Taylor Swift fans are just bubbling over with this. This is the greatest thing ever.
I saw somebody say something the other day where they're like, the only way this is going to be fair and football fans will stop bitching is this if we start going to every Taylor Swift concert and fucking constantly cutting over to Travis Kelce sitting in a fucking box at her concert, or be like, interrupt her concert feed with a fucking football game and see how the Swifties feel then.
Well, I mean, honestly, when she was in Argentina on the bye week, and he flew down there, that's exactly what you got.
Yeah, that's fair. It's fair.
They scanned to him when he was in the box. He was actually standing with her dad. Her dad was in the box,
Nice.
The little tent that they had. Yeah.
All I'm saying is, like, the fucking NFL guys absolutely are just like talking at that dude. They'd be like, listen, don't fuck this up. Our fucking sales at your guys' games are through the fucking roof. You better marry this chick.
Yeah. You better live long with this girl.
The only way it will ever get like more views than like T Swizzle being up there is if they breed and she's up there holding their new baby. And then it'll be like right up there.
I am with Mason a little earlier today, and he sent me a picture of the Kansas City Swifties. It was a helmet with Taylor's head, silhouette on it and shit. And I'm like, well, did you see this? And I sent him the Barbie that you sent me.
She's a Barbie, man. Look,
I'm thinking I might have to order one.
You get one for you, and you get one for your granddaughter. Just put it away. She can play with the Kansas City Barbie. I mean, that depends on if that's the team she ends up rooting for. Because I think I've heard that her grandparents on the other side support a different group.
Well, and it depends on which granddaughter.
Mm-hmm.
Sora is she loves the Chiefs, but she likes to give me crap that she also roots for the Seattle Seahawks.
Well, yeah, that's her daddy's team.
That is her daddy's team.
I saw that Chico's. I think he said his wife's grandparents root for somebody else.
The Detroit Lions. They become Lions fans.
Oh, they're Lions fans. That's unfortunate.
It hurts a little bit now. But
I'm not a big football guy, but I know that there are two teams that constantly let their fans down, like pretty hardcore, and one is the Bears.
Yep.
And like I say this loving Chicago, but like they know it. They know.
Oh
it.
yeah, they know.
And then there's the Detroit Lions. And I know they let their fans down constantly too. The only other thing I know about the Detroit Lions is Tim the Toolman Taylor loved the Lions.
He loved the Lions.
So
absolutely. Well, he loved the Lions when back in the '90s when Barry Sanders was still there. But I think
so when the Lions were decent.
Yeah, well, they were somewhat decent. Hey, listen, man. If you listen to Indiana Chiefs fans, the podcast, you would hear me talk about the Lions coming out of this game. They are actually building it the same way that Kansas City did. Going to the AFC Championship game, losing, and then coming back and go. I'm hoping that they will come back and go to the next 4 of the next 5 Super Bowls. If they are on track to do the same thing that Kansas City did.
Yeah.
And they, with their coach and their team, they got a lot of heart and a lot of passion, and they're all bought in. So I do believe that Detroit can come back just as strong next year and hopefully pin it down.
What's weird is it's the two teams I talked about are both teams that will burn shit down, win or lose, in the cities they're in.
Absolutely.
Chicago wins, burn it down. Chicago loses, burn it down. Same with Detroit.
You're missing one more, though, and that's called the Cleveland Browns.
I don't know shit about the Cleveland Browns other than, like, that's a horrible sports ball team name. The Browns.
The Browns.
Literally, people say, I'm going to take the Browns to the Super Bowl, talking about going to take a dump. Like, rethink it, man. Rebrand. Become something different.
They love their Browns over there in Cleveland, that's for sure. When was
the last time the NHL or the NFL had a new, I said NHL because that's what I listed, had a new team?
It's probably been 20 years ago when they brought in, there was a resurgence of like 2 or 3 teams, I think, that year. I think Jacksonville was one of them. Carolina was one. And the Texans, the Houston Texans, I think was the other one.
Yeah.
I think those are the last bunch that they brought in. It kind of equaled everything out a little bit, and they did a whole revamping of the entire thing. The Seattle Seahawks used to be in the exact same division as Kansas City, the Chargers, the Raiders, and the Broncos. So there used to be 5 teams in that division in the AFC. And when they made all these other teams come in and, they brought those other teams in, they totally just mixed it all up and sent Seattle over to the NFC East or whatever the hell they are. I'm not even sure, but the West or
I remember
don't even know.
The last thing we got in the NHL was when Vegas got their own team.
Mm-hmm.
And fuck, did they make that a huge thing? Like, I already have my lifelong teams I follow. I follow the Jersey Devils. I follow the Bruins. I follow the Jersey Devils because as growing up as a kid, it was like, it's the Jersey Devil. It's metal as shit. I follow the Bruins because, I like to see my team win.
Right.
And people like to shit on the Bruins. It is what it is. They earn it. It's fine. But when they added the Vegas Knights, man, I watched that whole year. And those dudes, they brand new team. They had that huge unveiling, and they stomped ass that whole year.
Well, didn't they win the Cup that year, or was that the next year?
No, they won the Cup their first year.
Right on.
And it was insane because it's like new team, and like Vegas fucking shelled out some money. They got them some serious players on there, and they came in, they stomped ass, and it was pretty dope.
I absolutely love hockey. I love going to games. I love to watch games, but it just became such a thing where it's like so much time was spent in front of the TV watching all these games that I'm like, between NHL, between NFL and NASCAR,
yeah.
I was like, man, something's got to go.
See, I'm right there with you, except for I didn't have football. I had NASCAR and hockey.
But we are actually heading to a Comets game on the 17th.
Ooh, that should be fun.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Haven't been to a Comets game forever, so.
Hockey is great. The older you get, the less viable it is to watch it on TV because it is fucking hard to keep your eye on that fucking puck.
Absolutely.
It don't matter how big your TV is. It moves so quick. The only way you can really determine where it's at is because you see different colored jerseys start heading in a different fucking direction. But it shares that same thing as NASCAR. It's like a lot of people are watching it to see people smack the shit out of each other.
Yep.
And the more modern hockey gets as far as the NHL goes, the less you see nowadays. You still see it, but you see it way the fuck less.
Well, you don't have the enforcers. Back when I used to watch a lot in the mid-'90s, you had certain guys that were the enforcers. Those are the guys that would go out there and everybody wanted to pick on them. And, yeah.
Absolutely.
And that was what made it fun.
Yeah, guys that could barely fucking skate that they found at a dive bar in their fucking city, but they can lay hands like no other. They'd be like, yeah, Tim can't really skate more than 20 feet without busting his ass, but if he gets you in that 20 feet, that person's going to be out of the game the rest of the fucking thing.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, sports has changed and everything. I haven't watched NASCAR in over probably a decade.
If not more. They've changed the rules so much and made it so hard to follow and watch. I don't even do it anymore.
Yeah, and everybody I liked or hated to like hated and wanted to watch to see them
trash.
are all gone. So they're all retired and whatnot. So it's just
Krusty Wallace or
all of
Jeff
them.
Gordon.
And Jeff Gordon's gone, and I love to root against Jeff Gordon. I know y'all's was a Jeff Gordon house. Well, at least on Bobby's side was a Jeff Gordon house.
Yeah. The rest of us hated Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, I grew up in an Earnhardt house, so it was him, and then when he passed away, it was Junior, and then Junior retired. So it's just like
My thing with NASCAR was, like I said, giving up so much time on a Sunday just to watch him, wait for a crash. But when Dale Earnhardt Sr. died, in my mind, in my eyes,
it was
the sport died with him. Yeah,
it was done. He was like the last of the great that was like still out there and competing and everything, and like that was because I was watching that race with my dad when that happened. There were kids that didn't go to school the next day.
Yeah,
and it was an excused absent. It was
I watched that. I watched that race. I remember it happening.
And it's just and it's crazy too because when the homeboy went out, he had such worse wrecks. Wrecks where you're like, there's no way that man's alive, and then he just crawls out of there and just walks away, and then it's just like a smaller wreck, and it's just like gone. You're just like, oh, that's right. We are fragile fucking little pieces of shit and just turning us the wrong way. We're done.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. When Junior doesn't even race for his dad's team after all that's over because apparently he didn't get along with then the sport's fucked. It's just over with. So
yeah,
that was one of the other big reasons I quit watching altogether. So all right, my man. We have sat here and shot the shit for like 35 minutes. Maybe we ought to get into what we are here to talk about today. You want to take it away?
Sure. You think these people want to hear something about spooky shit?
I don't know. They're like, you guys have talked about football, hockey, and now NASCAR. Can you fucking get on to the paranormal?
We'll get to it. All right. So we started the month with episode 99. The Rocker Chick, January 3rd, covered Bobby Mackey's in Wilder, Kentucky. From slaughterhouse to roadhouse and then a music hall, this chunk of land has seen everything from ghostly apparitions, satanic worshippers, good lord, and your run-of-the-mill murder. As a self-proclaimed portal to hell, that host unholy specters that love to follow visitors home. Bobby Mackey's, man. What can you not say about Bobby Mackey's? It's where the Ghost Adventures got their start. My boy, Douche Baggins. Listen, throw shade all you want. I still watch that, man, because, he's been everywhere. He's been everywhere so much that he's been everywhere, 3 times.
Yeah, that's true.
You got a location you like? Okay, go watch Ghost Adventures. You can see them go there when they were 20, when they're 30, and when they're pushing 42. Fucking, what is it? I think they're on 19. I think maybe they might be in their 20s, as far as season-wise goes. But Bobby Mackey's is a place that I think they've sworn off now because of what happened with Mark and Debbie Constantino, which was people that they investigated with. And that couple went to Bobby Mackey's pretty regularly. And unfortunately, that ended with a murder-suicide, which is rough. And a lot of people in the paranormal community like to lean towards they were overexposed to this. I don't want to say what it was because it could just be mental illness or shitheadery that led to it.
Right.
The Ghost Adventures touched on it, and it was a nice episode for them, their standards. It was pretty tame episode when they talked about that, but it's Bobby Mackey's is one of those wild places for sure, because there's, every haunting place, there's a lot of speculation. There is no proof that it was a slaughterhouse at any point. You can't find paperwork saying to it, but just because there's not paperwork doesn't mean it happened. Also doesn't mean it did happen. It is what it is.
It looks like a slaughterhouse. It looks like it could have been a slaughterhouse back in the day. Just the design and the way, I don't even know how to explain it. If you just go look at pictures of it, I mean, it looks like a slaughterhouse. And I think that maybe that's probably why everybody thought it was. I mean, if there's no proof, then there's no proof. But
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like that's what it could have been. But
And sure, there might not be legal paperwork, but who are we to tell locals that have been passing stories down forever that, like, they're wrong? Like, somebody's fucking great grandma has been like, oh, I used to get my cold cuts from there fresh off the hog. And like, okay, who am I to tell Nani she was wrong? I didn't fucking live there. Maybe they didn't file their fucking paperwork. They weren't.
well, maybe they weren't necessarily I don't want to say legit, but maybe they weren't. Maybe it was kind of a side hustle.
Yeah, it might have been somebody's house, and in the backyard they were just slaughtering meats because it was their passion. Who the fuck knows?
I know people like that that do deer hunting that way.
But
It's a passion.
Regardless, you can't really dispute the fact that there are tons and tons of people that have had paranormal experiences there. So, I mean, I can't shake my stick at shit because that's considered one of the most haunted places. I mean, there's a reason why all these paranormal investigators, famous and non-famous, all flock to that location.
Right. Well, and with Nancy, what was his name? Nancy and what? Drew?
Yes.
I make you think about it now.
Yeah.
You said it a minute ago.
Oh, you talking about Mark and Debbie?
Mark and Debbie. God,
yeah, man, you were way the fuck off there.
I was way off. My shit's going weird here. Hold on one second.
Did your lights just change?
Yeah, you like that?
Yeah, that was kind of spooky.
So Mark and Debbie. Sorry, my bad. I don't know why I was thinking the other way. Speculation was that they brought something home with them.
Well, yeah, and that it kind of goes with hand in hand with that whole vibe of that area, and they were there constantly. So, I mean, I wouldn't argue with that logic personally.
No. Well, and we watched, while she was doing her research, we watched several different videos. Jack Osborne was one of them that weirded out without his protection bag, and there was another investigator that didn't want to go back, but went back. He claimed that something went home with him, and it messed with him for 6 months.
Listen, if I was paranormal investigating that and somebody gave me a protection bag, I don't care if we're not getting anything. When somebody looks at me like, hey man, maybe we're not getting it because you got your fucking safety bag on you, I'd be like, fuck you. You get rid of your safety bag and go to a different side of the fucking building and see what you get, and I'll sit here with this on. I'll get jack shit and go home with not a fucking problem.
That's right. Let me know. Well, as Mason said, he wants a crystal bag too if we ever go, because he don't want none of that shit going home with him either.
Absolutely the fuck not. Like, people are like, oh, I don't mind. I want to see something. I'm like, okay. As a person that's dealt with paranormal shit, I've brought this up before. I haven't really disclosed my big happenstance and stuff because I don't I feel like talking about it invites shit back in. Not about it. I don't recommend it. Not at all. I'm pretty sure J-Dub will tell you the same, but living with it, nah, it's for the fucking birds. Bring you a fucking bag. Maybe it'll spook you while you're there, but you know what it'll do? It'll fucking leave its ass there. It'll stay. Or go home with some other schmuck that came unprepared. Let them have it. They can end up on fucking whatever show on Discovery doing their weird, re-encounters of it with their face blurred out and the weird voice on. I'm not.
Absolutely.
I'm not about it. I'll go, but if I can have safety precautions, I'll take them.
However, I would love to see the place. It is an iconic place, and I think it would be really cool to see, just to walk through one time and see what they've done. Especially if they're in the middle of a remodel right now. So
yeah. Oh yeah, because the remodel really stirs up the fucking hornet's nest. If I'm the owner of Bobby Mackey's and we could use a remodel, I'm like, nah, you can wait till I die. Then y'all do it, because I still got to be up in this joint and it's already problematic.
Yeah. Yeah. No more.
I know this is a case that a few people have asked us to do. I know my buddy Kyle had wrote letters to us asking us to cover it. So it was a good time to go. And it's one of those buildings that's got so much on it. You could always revisit it down the road and talk about other people's stuff that's dealt with it. I would like to go someday. It would be cool to go.
I keep saying I'm going to go to all these places, but yet I am yet to pack my bag and go to any of them.
We need to hit something up, like
I know.
it's like our duty nowadays. Like most people, I hit 65. I want to go to Graceland. Us, it's going to be like I want to go to Waverly, or we'll go to Waverly, or we'll go to the Myrtle Plantation, or
right. I don't know, man. I feel that I'm letting our listeners down by not going to these places. And not being an actual paranormal investigator, just a guy who tells stories. But
I also feel like you're letting our viewers down by not going to those places.
Oh, well, I got 2 willing co-hosts that would probably drive. So
yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
I really have no excuses. But one of these days, I'm going to take J-Dub out to Little Egypt and go to the bridge where the troll is at. And see what happens there.
Listeners, I am here to tell you that Little Egypt is so goddamn disappointing. I have heard nothing but stories of this place since I was a crib midget. And when I went back to live in Indiana as a young adult, I go out there and I'm expecting like this massive cemetery and like this crazy shit. I get out there and it's like fucking like 7 tombstones. It's gated off. It's in the middle of what looks like a field, and you're just like, oh, this is. You always hear like underwhelming and overwhelming. Well, fucking Little Egypt is just whelming. I was whelmed. That's it.
Yeah.
I had no extreme feelings one way or another. I was just like, huh. That was it.
Well, I spent many, many a nights out there with your mom and with your aunt while they hunted for the house that could never be found.
Oh, yeah.
That everybody swears is out there.
And were they not drunk while you were doing that?
They were not.
Ah, surprising. Okay.
Yeah, they were not. They were not. They were on a mission. I remember sitting there while they ran through the woods many a times looking for this place, and
good Lord.
I would just sit in the car with a little hair metal on and just watch and wait, and nothing ever happened.
Yeah,
but
Golden J just sitting in the car, listening to some REO Speedwagon.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
No, it's not. That's the only cassette I had in my Ford Escort.
But I never knew that the bridge that's located just up the road from the cemetery actually is supposed to house a troll.
Ooh.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I started doing some research on it. And I'm like, fuck.
Go check out a troll.
I'd go check out a troll.
You guys could drive your asses down to Gary, Indiana, and go see the haunted plot that is where the Amons family house was before Zach Baggins bulldozed that bitch after it fucked up his eyes. That I would love to go see. I would just like to go be in the presence of a house that, 1, literally messed up his eyes, and 2, scared him so shitless that the man that hoards everything paranormal was like, nah, bulldoze this bitch. Cement that basement in and fucking roll him. The next day, he had bulldozers out there. That's how bad it fucked with Zach Baggins. That's saying something, because this man is just a hoarder of that shit. He fucking literally tore down a wall in his museum to build a room around the Kevorkian van that he used to euthanize people in, but was like, no, I have one of the hauntedest house in America. Nah, let's roll those dozers, dog. Tear it down.
It's that bad.
Yeah, I'd go see that. I'd go see anything.
All right, let's move on.
All right, January 11th, TUSOP went live for our 100th episode. So let's talk about that.
Man. That was fun.
It was fun when I got into it. I spent like the first 25% of that cussing at everything I was trying to do to get in there.
Yeah, it's interesting when you work with technology you're not used to working with. And I researched it and studied it. Me and Chico did like 2 or 3 tests on the thing, and come actual go time, it was like, shit, now we've run into more problems, and it's like, I don't know. There were several listeners who were actually like guests that could have talked at any given point in the middle of that show. And thank God they didn't.
Yeah. No.
I mean, I wouldn't have cared. We would have definitely talked to him, but it was, I don't know how this all worked out. It was just kind of crazy, but, I so enjoyed being able to have the chat board and to talk to our listeners, and it was great. I loved it, and I'm looking forward to doing it again. I just don't know. I don't want to oversaturate it. I don't want to do it like 100 times a month, and people get bored with it. But I'd love to do it again. And
That's why I think you will absolutely love the Discord when we get it out there, because one, that's a place where they can talk all the time, is via like text, but also can and have a video / voice channel where you can just pop in. You're like, let's say you're working one night and you just want to talk, and somebody sees you in there, they can pop in and they can fucking talk to you, and it's nice. But yeah, we are lucky that nobody Baba Booeyed us by being able to just pop in there, just be like, Baba Booey, Baba
Booey. The old Baba Booey. No, the people that did have that access are really big fans and have a lot of respect for us, and they just wanted to enjoy the show, and I'm glad that they did. And like I said, I would have talked to all of them, but just getting through what we were talking about and getting you actually up and running, and God, it's just so much fun. So much fucking fun.
Yeah, a good turnout.
100 episodes, dude.
That's crazy.
Would you have thought that when we first started this, or at least had this idea?
No, because I remember when we first started doing it, everybody kept talking about like post podcast stop after like 7 episodes or this or that, and it just kept on going. And I mean, we have gained and lost host, and that's for sure, but it never stopped rolling.
Right.
So it kept on trucking. Here we are, 100 episodes, and here's to the next 100. It's just going to keep on going.
We're going to keep rolling. As long as we got spooky shit to talk about, we're going to keep on keeping on.
Never-ending spooky shit to talk about, man.
All right, what do we do next?
Next, on January 17th, episode 101 was J-Dub, and she covered different legends, mythical creatures, deities, and cryptids of China. And boy, did she cover a bunch, and she had the uphill battle of being able to pronounce that shit. Because I would not have been able to even come close. I would have been like, I'll do 3 of them, and I will learn how to pronounce just those 3, or try my best, because the Chinese language is hard.
It is.
Hard to enunciate.
Unless you say celestial stag.
Oh, good Lord. I know Mason sent y'all a message about that later on.
Oh man, they're still coming.
I'm sure they are.
I love it.
Celestial stag sounds like a boner pill you'd get at a truck stop. That's what it sounds
out of
like.
the little vending machine above the urinal.
Yep. That's exactly what it sounds like. Like, you have a hard time getting it up? Try a celestial stag. Celestial stag lasts longer than 3 hours. Call a doctor or more ladies.
Or call your buddies and high five them, because damn, I'm not calling the doctor. I'm gonna use that thing.
She covered a lot, from phoenixes to dragons. Just hell, we even talked about the hopping ghost of Japan, or of China. I listed down 2 of ones that stick out to me that I like over there, and I'm going to absolutely butcher their names. The first one that came to my mind was the Jinmu Ya. It is a plant human hybrid that lives in the deep forest of China, a giant tree that grows smiling human heads as fruit, claimed to have a sweet and sour flavor when it's ripened. The legend goes that one is near when the forest becomes loud with the sound of 1,000 happy heads laughing.
Oh shit!
And it's not maniacal. It's not trying to lure you there to murder it or nothing. It's just there. It's just this big ass tree that grows basically human heads that giggle. And I guess at one point somebody was like, "I'm gonna eat one of those." Which I don't know what train of thought that person had. I don't think I would be trying to. I wouldn't go near a tree with heads that are giggling on it, first and foremost, let alone be like, I'm going to eat one of those.
Was it tasty? Did they like it?
They said it was sweet and sour, so somebody liked it.
Okay.
And then another one that I liked was the Shui Gai, which like I said, I'm probably butchering these. But the legend goes, in China, if you die drowning, your fate is much worse than just a watery death. You come back as a shui guy that legitimately translates into water ghost. These spirits are doomed to wait in the water for another swimmer or boater to come across them. When they're in arm's reach, the spirit drags them to the bottom of the water to suffer death via drowning. Then that spirit is set free, and its victim takes its place in the water, waiting for a victim to take its spot in its watery grave. So it's just a big fucking circle of like, okay, I died drowning, so now I drowned you. Now you drown the next person, and I get to go to the afterlife.
Right, right.
So there's always a fucking spirit in the water in China, basically what that revolves around to.
That'll make you not want to go swimming.
Yeah, absolutely. With legends like that, I don't know how anybody gets in the fucking water in China.
Yeah, no kidding.
Be like, this person drowned. Okay, so now there's a spirit in the water. So if I get in the water, they're going to absolutely try their best to drown me so they can go to their afterlife and have a good time. I'll just be like, nah, I'm good. And if somebody drowns in a bathtub in China, is that... or like a hot tub? Like, does that mean like they're in there?
Boy, you got me on that one. I'm not 100% sure how that would work out.
Because the legend says if you drowned, that's what happens. So like if
right.
if something shitty happens and like you fall, you're unconscious, you drown in a puddle, are you just fucked as a ghost because now you're haunting that spot where there was a puddle?
Wow. What was it in the middle of the road?
I mean, it's just wherever a puddle was, man.
Right.
Like it's just like I've got to know like the stipulations. Like let's say fucking Timmy has a fucking stroke while he's eating his fucking Wheaties and he drowns in his bowl of fucking cereal.
Oh shit.
Is he now a spirit that haunts that bowl?
Or does he haunt the chair that he died in?
Or,
I mean,
he's got to wait in some kind of. Or does it not count because it's not water?
Oh,
is it like a loophole? Is it like it's milk, so it doesn't count? Or is it just the act of drowning? It doesn't matter what kind of fluids it is.
I'm betting there's probably a manual or something on that gives more specifics. It's like a rule book.
Yeah, I would like to think that there's some monks somewhere in China that have like flushed that out. But like, if you drowned in puddle, yes, that counts. It's water. You drowned in bowl of cereal, no, because at that point you would be a milk ghost, and that's a whole other thing. You hunt cows.
Absolutely.
These are the questions we need to answer as paranormal investigators.
That's right. That is correct. We're going to put J-Dub on that since this was her story.
Absolutely. I agree with that 110%.
But yeah, she had a ton. There was a ton of cryptids that she went over in that. And she had quite the time trying to pronounce those names. And it was a lot of fun just to watch her.
That area is just... They have always been very steeped in paranormal culture, and like not a lot of their beliefs have changed with time. They still are all fairly like it's very current with all of them. They all respect the dead very much. In China and Japan, they don't really fuck around with ghosts because in their culture, if you disrespect a ghost, their ghost will fuck you up. They will follow you home. They'll do awful things to you. They will mess with your prosperity. There's stuff like I can't remember if it's in China or Japan where the suicide forest is, and that's just terrifying.
Oh yeah.
It's that forest where people are known to go commit suicide, unfortunately, and their spirits are like trapped there, which is just a horrifying concept.
Well, didn't some famous YouTuber actually film?
Yeah, I think that was one of the Paul brothers, Logan or whatever the hell Paul, went out there and they filmed the body of somebody that was out there, because it's one of those things is where it's like, it's not a thing like you go out there, you might do this. It's one of those things where it's like you go out there, you will absolutely either find the remains of somebody or find somebody that just recently did it.
Yeah.
Because that's what that place has become, unfortunately. Through ages and ages, people just... It's a culture where your honor and stuff is very important. And like these people are like, okay, well, I've got no coming back from this. And they're like, I'll go to the forest to remove myself from other people so they don't have to find me. Well, then it ended up being like other people doing it and more people doing it.
Right.
And it just became this huge thing to where like you walk through these woods and you'll see tents and like stuff showing you that clearly there were people there that came there to do something, unfortunately, that's really awful. And yeah, leave it to an American dude to go out there and make a fucking spectacle of it.
Right. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
But
But yeah, I love taking trips across the ocean to some of these different places. We've done it a few times, not a lot, but it's always a lot of fun to dive into other cultures and, you know, some of the cryptids and creepies of other nations. So
absolutely, we need to punch more passports. Let's go check out some ghosts in Ireland or
right.
England. I know we've done like Vietnam and we've done Germany with the Krampus and stuff like that. But it'd be cool. Yeah, I always love there's a lot of good spooky stuff that is outside of America, so it's fine. It's good to every now and then go out there and check it out.
Absolutely. Yeah, we just don't need to stick with our own little
chunk of land.
Yeah, exactly.
Hell, let's go find out about some Canadian fucking cryptids and fucking ghosts. You don't hear a lot of Canadian ghost stories off the top of your head.
Huh.
You
Never really thought about it,
there.
yeah.
Some guy
There's
haunting
gotta
a
be.
Tim Hortons up there. Or,
you come back to your table, your donuts are half gone, eh?
yeah. All for it. There's a lot of moose death up there. Like people die by a moose, and I imagine you haunt a chunk of land if you get killed by a moose, because a moose gets you. You probably didn't even know it was coming. So I imagine you become a spirit then, just out of confusion.
I was watching some video the other day of a moose come running through. My God, those things are violently fast and unbelievably.
Oh no, I read a fucking statistic one time that like, and somebody made a comic book out of it, and it was terrifying. There were like number one causes of aquatic deaths in I think it's either Canada or Alaska, and it's like at the top of it, it's like moose.
Yeah.
And it's like, how does that even make sense? And the comic book was of a diver down there, and he sees a fucking moose go by him underwater, and he's like, what the fuck? And then the next thing you know, the moose, it gets eaten by a fucking orca. And apparently that is like one of the biggest death rates for moose in Alaska, is that fucking whales eat them because they're just fucking at the bottom of the water, just bouncing around on the bottom. The shit's insane. Why people live up there, I don't fucking know.
Oh my God.
I'm not looking to die via moose or fucking whale. I'm out, either or.
I just don't want to be in the cold.
Yeah, no,
I don't want
fair.
to. Yeah, I don't want to be that cold all that much time during the whole entire year.
Well, that's why I covered the specter moose back in the day, because I was like, one, moose are already terrifying, and then you got a moose that's like seemingly a ghost that's still just as pissy as a regular moose. I'm not about it.
Oh.
So next we had January 24th, episode 102, The Hat Man, covered by Golden J. We got the Hat Man and Shadow People is something that has plagued humanity seemingly since the dawn of the existence of humans. Although the Hat Man himself seems to be harmless and more of a specter of spectating. How you like that? Specter of spectating.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Meanwhile, the Shadow People can go either way. Some people tie these creatures closely to sleep paralysis, others to shadowy demons or vengeful spirits, even as a phantom warning of death being near. Shadow People, man. Like, I have never had an experience with the Hat Man, but I have for sure had experiences. One as an adult that I'm hard pressed to say if it was a spirit or sleep paralysis, because it could lean either way. And then one as a child that 112% I know was not sleep paralysis, because my ass was not asleep. When we were living in the house in Atwood, my parents had that big fucking L-shaped couch in the living room. Remember?
Yep.
And with these couches, this one had more of a bend instead of a right angle to it. So it was pushed in a corner. So there's this big space behind the couch where there was a Glade plug-in that fucking like nearly blinded me as a kid, because I was back there fucking squeezing it like a dipshit. But I left my room, which is in this back hallway, which you had to walk through the living room to get to the kitchen. And I swear on my children, I shit you not, one night I'm walking through the living room, I go to the kitchen, I get in the kitchen. I get me a glass of water. We had one of those old refrigerators that you get the water out of the door and everything. And I drink it. I sit it down. I go to walk back in my room. And when I get to the living room, I see what looks like human-esque shadow in that fucking corner just kind of like raise up. Just, no eyes, no nothing, but it's clearly something there.
Right.
At least to my probably 7 or 8 year old seeing ass. They look like something was there, like something raised up. And now this was the point to where like I'm halfway in the living room. I'm halfway to the kitchen. I'm halfway to the bedroom. And I had to make a fucking choice. It was like, okay, run past it, get back to where my parents are, to more likely to my bedroom, because if I run in my dad's room yelling there's something in the living room, the first thing I'm going to get caught with is, why the fuck are you out of your bedroom in the first place? Or I backtrack towards the kitchen. Now, mind you, at this age, I am scared of the kitchen at night because it's close to the fucking the furnace, the hot water heater, which makes fucking horrible gurgling noises from a closet in the back.
Right.
But my ass is so scared of what I see in this corner that I haul ass back to the fucking kitchen. And I just turn the light on and I just sit at that big oval fucking kitchen table we had. And I sit there until my father gets up in the morning. His coffee maker comes on and I'm still just sitting at that table just waiting. Because in my head, I'm like, if he's up, I'm good. I'm safe. If it don't get him, we're good.
Well, you're not wrong.
Yeah, no. I mean, it worked out. He got up. He asked me what I was doing up so early, and I was just like, oh, I just got up. And him not knowing that I've been up for hours just sitting at that fucking table just hoping something doesn't turn around the bend and fucking spirit away my little ass. But as an adult, at my sister's house now, I used to live with her. I was laying in bed, and I was like dozing, and then I fall asleep, and then I wake up. And I lean more towards sleep paralysis here, but I don't know. I'm not an expert, so I can't say if sleep paralysis is something that you deal with because your brain's bouncing between dream states and you're half awake, or if it is a spiritual thing that people just lump into something because they're scared and don't want to admit it. I'm laying in my bed. It's a twin-size bed. My door's right in front of me, and I see something very similar to what I saw when I was little, but it was a human shape that grew from the floor up and grew up past my door to where it was really fucking tall, probably 9 feet. And I'm laying there and I can't do shit. I can't scream. I can't move. I can't yell. And this is when I'm living with my now brother-in-law, Jeremy, our buddy Colton, and my sister. They're all in the living room. And when I can finally fucking move, the first thing I do is scream like a little bitch. Top of my lungs. I just fucking scream. And then Jeremy and Colton come through the door, and I'm like, there was fucking something right there. And they're like, were you having that sleep paralysis? I don't know. I don't fucking know, but I'm awake now, and I'm fucking leaving this room.
Well, a lot of the stories revolved around sleep paralysis with seeing the Hat Man, and there wasn't. I think there was like one instance in one of those stories where somebody saw it during the day at like 5 o'clock in the afternoon or something like that. But most everything was at night, and there was never any malice in him at all. I mean, it wasn't like he attacked them or anything like that. It just sent so much fear and, dread into them that people just didn't know how to respond. A lot of people just lifted up their covers and hid their heads.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you can, fucking absolutely cover your face. I fucking would.
But I wanted to thank Eric. We talked about this on the actual episode, but thanks again to Eric for tagging us, the United States Paranormal, in a post that was something he had run across, and it was just super cool because I seen it and I'm like, I don't even know who this guy is. I didn't know he was a listener. I'd never heard from him before, and to get tagged like that was just fucking super cool. And I've emailed with him several times since then. Plus he was on he was listening to the 100 show. So
nice.
But yeah, that's that's the cool thing about our fans right there, always commenting and tagging us and stuff. And you know, I hope we got a good story out of it. I had a lot of fun looking into it. There's not a lot on him in general. Most everything I found was pretty much the exact same story.
Yeah.
That's why I went with all the personal. There I am back to that word, experiences again. You know, that's why I went in that direction, because I thought it'd be a little more insightful what people had run across over the years. So
Yeah, and that's definitely, I feel like that's one of those stories that a lot of people can relate to, because a lot of people have seemingly had experiences with. Like I said, I'm not an expert. I won't say that one way or the other is real or not real. I won't say it's sleep paralysis for sure. I won't say that it's a spirit. I don't fucking know. I know that one of the situations I had with the what seems like to be the same thing, I was absolutely awake. I can say another one that I had, I was absolutely teetering between awake and not awake.
right.
I don't know if it's something that legitimately lives in the shadows. I don't know if it's something that comes at a certain time of night. I don't know if it's something that's completely just in your fucking brain. All I know is that it left a lasting impact on me from a child to an adult.
A lot of the people, you know, the ones that seen him repeatedly, it was at a specific time. But all those times were different for different people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just crazy, because there's no outline to exactly when this Hat Man was going to show up.
I wish,
You know, in different scenarios.
I wish that people that made these, that posted these events, would say what state of mind they were in when that happened. Like, what if it's something? This is how I relate to it, because both times I've dealt with it was times where I was tired.
Right.
I'm wondering if your brain hits a certain fog at a certain point of your consciousness, to where you could just be susceptible to seeing things that you're not supposed to. And you're not catching like a full glimpse of what's actually there, but you're catching the shadow of it. You know, like maybe they aren't shadows. Maybe that's not what they look like. Maybe your brain's just foggy enough to where you're catching the B side of them. You're not catching their full self, but you're catching
Right.
their shadow of them, just like we have shadows.
Right.
I mean, that's where my brain goes. That's how I think of it. Because like I said, both times I had experiences. One was when I was awake as a kid. I was clearly awake. I was moving through the house, but I was really fucking tired.
Right.
And the other was when I was teetering between awake and asleep as an adult. So I like to think that maybe that's it. Maybe your brain's just open enough to where you're seeing something. Just like people that are near death seemed like, there's a lot of accounts of people that are like on death's door or about to die, saying they're seeing other people in the room,
Right.
or this and that before they go. Maybe your brain's just groggy enough to where you're seeing stuff that you don't normally see.
Yeah, it makes you wonder if that portion, that time between, you know, before you get into your REM sleep is what they call it.
Mm-hmm.
That, you know, just before you get into that, if that is your opening of the veil, you know, that we talk about small kids have, you know, that veil is very thin. Is that our adult veil? Is that where it's at? If you're just right at the brink of, you know, you're asleep, but you're not into that deep, deep sleep. I mean, I've never seen a shadow figure. I've never seen the Hat Man. I've never anything like that. But I have been at that moment where you're just about to hit that deep sleep, and I've heard somebody yell my name.
Yeah, exactly. And who's to say that that's not somebody from the other side or something from the other side? And like I said, people can lean the other way too. They could be like, that's just your brain.
Yeah, exactly.
Clicking over to this, it could lean either way. It just really lean whichever way you want, listeners. You know, if you want to lean on the skeptic side, lean that way. If you don't, and you want to lean towards more of the paranormal, lean that way. We're not here to tell you which way to go.
No,
we're just
absolutely
saying
not.
how we feel about it, personally.
Yeah, Exactly. Yeah, because we are not experts by any stretch of the imagination. We're just here to learn and talk about it with each other and all of you guys out there.
I personally just lean towards paranormal when it comes to that because, like, if you think about it, your brain, like you are so much more susceptible to noises and stuff, and noises, heat changes, all this when you're barely awake. Like the slightest change in temperature while you're asleep can just wake you up.
Right.
You're at a heightened sense of something you wouldn't be aware of as awake and doing stuff, but you're asleep and it gets a little bit hotter, a little bit colder. You wake up, you hear something that normally would get no reaction out of you, and it startles you at that way. I think our monkey brains were made to be more susceptible to things while we're asleep to keep us alive. And who's to say that that's not cranked so far up that we're picking up on stuff that we can't while we're awake?
Right.
That's just how I feel about it.
Absolutely. I will agree with you on that. I can see that and appreciate that that side of it. I've never really sat down and thought a lot about it. Like I said, you know, I've had experiences where I'm in that zone, and all of a sudden it's like you hear your name be screamed, and you're like, the hell was that? I got up to walk to the bathroom the other day, and so for my two monitors in the studio, I've got TCL TVs. They're the smart TVs, and they make a specific sound when you shut them off. It's like you know, something along that. And I was walking from my bedroom to the bathroom and past this room, and I swear to God, I heard one of these TVs shutting off. Now I was half asleep. Yeah. I mean, I could have been imagining that. I have no idea, but I opened up the door and looked in and looked around, and there wasn't anything on, and it was just kind of crazy.
You're a braver man than me. I wouldn't have fucking went in there. It would have made that noise, and I would have just been like, nope, I'm just go take a whiz and go right the fuck back to sleep.
Sometimes you just gotta look, man.
Man, I've seen enough horror movies to know that doesn't fucking end well. So we had one more. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, I just want to say once again, thanks to Eric and all the things that got us to that episode, man. I really appreciate it. So love it.
We have one more story this month that dropped today. It was episode 103, February 1st, right? No, yeah.
No, January 31st.
January 31st, sorry.
Yeah.
Dropped yesterday. See, my schedule's all fucked up. Took us to the Gates of Hell, Riverdale Road. This stretch of road has a grab bag of hauntings and paranormal events, from classic women in white to phantom joggers, a haunted one-light Camaro, and a bloody handprints left behind by adolescent spirits.
Yes.
I did some research on it after listening to it and everything, and it's like the Rocker Chick said, it's just, there's a lot. It's called one of the most haunted roads in America for a reason. There's a lot of different accounts, a lot of people having accounts with the same thing. One thing I did find out while researching it is that the house is very split on its story. Like the house that clearly the guy said that the devil influenced him and he snapped, or he went insane and burnt the house down with his wife and kid in it. What I found about that leaned more towards the skeptic side, but we've talked about it. I'll just get into what I found real quick, and then we can talk about it. So the original owner, David, I'm going to mispronounce this, Wolpert, died in 1909 at the age of 75. His wife died a few years later in 1915. Both left this world of old age by official reports. In November of 1975, the home was engulfed in flames with no injuries or fatalities reported. Due to the fact that in May of 1975, the home's chicken house burnt down. Whilst tending to that fire, the local fire department deemed the old home a fire hazard and a danger to the community, and the current residents of the home were ordered by the owner to get out. The fire department told them they had to get rid of the tenants, which is a little weird, just being able to tell them, like, no, get them out. When they moved out of the house suffered massive amounts of vandalism in a very short time. Some people tie all this to the fact that in January of 1975, Dr. Hugo Roderick had tried to file the house as a historic landmark and protect it, but the owners were not having it, seeing how the house made them money via renters. They seemed to think that Hugo paid off the fire department to get the house vacant, so the locals claimed that the owners burned the house down to spite Hugo. The more of like, if we can't make money off of it, you can't fucking have it for your historic landmark shit. These are these are the records that were out there for the public to have. Now, this leads to me to, we've talked about it, I think we've talked about it on almost every other side we've done, about tulpas and the amount of people believing in something making it so.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And it seems like that since 1975, people have all been saying, like, a crazy guy burnt his house down, his wife died in there. And this becomes their truth.
Right.
This becomes what grandparents tell their kids, which they tell their kids, and it stops becoming an urban legend and starts becoming fact to the community, which evolves psychic energy, if you're into that, if you believe in that, which just warps reality to where it's like so many people say it, so many people think it becomes real.
Right. Yeah, they bring it into reality.
Yeah, which it seems like it was already on a stretch of land that already was ripe with paranormal energy, clearly,
right.
with all the other things tied to it, to where, like, I think that has become the fact for that house itself now. It might have been just a normal house that got burnt down by a pissed off owner and nobody got hurt, but now as far as that land and that energy goes, it is steeped in something far worse. And as time goes, and if that story changes, I imagine the energy of that area will also change. But as far as now, and it has been, that place is just fucking riddled with something beyond our comprehension that causes spirits or stuff conjured by energy to exist prominently in that area.
Yeah. For starters, it's interesting to say that, fire department comes in and says, you can get your tenants out now. I was just watching a story on the news this morning. There's a hotel locally that, is kind of a rent by day type thing. And a lot of people live, day to day into these hotels. I think it's like $10 a day or some shit like that. It wasn't very, but the city came in and said, no, it needs to be condemned. And they are kicking all of these tenants or all these people that were, living in these rooms. They're kicking them all out. And a lot of them have no places to go. So when you said that, that's the first thing that came to mind. It's like, if somebody in a higher power says that this house is, needs to be condemned or whatever, I can totally see that because I just watched it happen with a hotel around here on the news.
It's crazy to think, though, like they went there to put out essentially a chicken coop fire.
Right.
And then they're like, hey, while we're here putting out this chicken coop fire, let's take a look at that house. And they're like, nah, kick these fuckers out. And like I said, this is just months after a dude was like, hey, let's get these people out of here. Let's restore this place. This is a historic landmark. And the owner was like, no, fuck you. That doesn't pay.
Right.
My renters pay. And then all of a sudden the fire marshal's like, no, your chicken coop burnt down. You guys get the fuck out of this house. You're a danger to everybody. It's like,
Well, maybe the fire guys had to go pee and they went in there and they noticed how bad and how beat down it was.
I mean, it was built in it was built in like the late 1800s.
Right.
Or like mid 1800s. And it's a brick house. So, I mean, it probably wasn't up to code.
Absolutely.
So
it still had 2-wire electric.
Yeah. It's probably one of those places where there was no electric run in it originally, so all the wires are just fucking stapled to the fucking wall and shit.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, so, like you said.
It's interesting that, all the things that go on in some of these places, these roads. Riverdale is one of a couple of them that I know about. And, just the fact that, a couple outtakes from this is, the let's talk about the story from the woman that she talked about towards the end of her story, who went and did just long investigations along this road, and how she claims that one side of the road is just completely normal, but when she walked on the other side of the road, it was like the veil was lifted and she could see all kinds of things while she was walking along. And I mean, how often does that play into normal everyday driving around? If you're on one side of the road and you never see anything, but you drive, if somebody else is driving in a different direction, they see something totally different. You understand what I'm saying? It's like,
yeah, it gives a whole different definition to the other side of the tracks.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. It's where I think that something else I've talked about before is ley lines. I think it really depends on these lines of natural energy that flow through the world itself, not just America. And I think that road is just smack dab in the middle of one, to where it literally just splits it. It's like, all right side of the road, you're normal. You go over to the left-hand side, you better be ready to get fucking grazed by a fucking ghost jogger going by. And you don't think too hard on something, because you might make it fucking come into this world. So.
Oh, yeah. The other thing is Chico texted me Wednesday morning, and he's like, I heard something at 37 minutes and 15 seconds in the background, and I don't know what it is. And I'm like, did we catch another puck wedgie type thing, or what do we got going on here? So I went and listened to it. I didn't hear it. I had headphones on, but I was coming through my phone. And when I brought it down to, I come back into the studio and brought it down to just a single track. And the way that your Aunt Bobbi laughed, she had a laugh, and it was like a pause, and then she finished her laugh. It made it sound like there was something in the background. It was crazy as fuck.
Yeah, no, then see, that just shows you right there, like, his senses are heightened because he's listening to something spooky.
Right.
And then his brain is picking up on something that most people will fucking miss.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I think that goes back to what we were talking about earlier. It's like, we got monkey brain, dog, It's looking out for certain things. Your brain's at like a high alert to paranormal shit because you're listening to something paranormal, and your brain's like, I heard something that you normally would not fucking pick up on.
Right. I don't know how these paranormal investigators go through all that video and find things. I would miss all kinds of shit. I don't, it's insane. I mean, they're probably more trained than I am to sit there and watch a video that they've taken and find something in there. But, how many times have you had to go back and watch a video or have them slow it down for you? And you're like, oh, there it is. I see it now.
I think they have to be sitting there on a screen that's got like the vocal breakdowns, and they have to have that thing like spread as far as they can. And they have to be looking for like little peaks,
right,
and stuff, like, because there's certain ones. It's like, first of all, if I'm doing that, I think for the original listen through, I would have to be wearing a blindfold. I have to be like, I have to be all ears and nothing else, because the way my brain works, I'll be looking at shit, I'll miss something. So I'd have to be like I'd have to have a face mask on and just be listening. Like, okay, I heard something there. Take off my headset, make a note, go back, listen to it.
Right.
I imagine that's why they can pay those people. Zach Bagans got somebody to do it for him. Comb that shit.
Oh, but there you go. That is the January review. What did we do? 5 episodes?
Yeah, we had 1, 2,
I believe
3, 4, and 5. Yep.
Yeah.
4 in the live
5
show.
episodes. Yeah. It's been a good month. 2024 has started off pretty good. So appreciate all the people who listen every week and send us IMs or emails, or, give us likes on our social media or comments on our social media. We appreciate all of that stuff. You don't even know how much we appreciate it. Look at all of it. I try to respond to as much as I can, but I don't get every piece of it. So if you've done something and I haven't responded, it's not because I don't love you. Trust me. Golden J's got a couple things going on, so he misses things from time to time. But
that's a fucking understatement.
I do appreciate everybody that takes their time to listen to United States Paranormal. So yeah, January review. How do you feel about January?
I think, I mean, as far as like two-stop going, it's great. As far as like sickness and stuff over on my end, not fantastic, but you know, it's to be expected. It's the colder side of the month and everything. So
Yeah, I'm ready for it to be over.
yeah,
I'm ready for the cold to be over.
I don't get as much of a grace period. Like when it starts to warm up here, it just warms way the fuck up. I don't have any like nice brisk 75-degree weather and everything out here. It goes from cold to fuck you hot. So
Oh, well, I do want to say, while Logan plays with, why do you have a mannequin with a bra on it?
oh, that's because Kayla. This is Kayla's form, and she has been making chainmail. So
Oh, nice.
so she made all that. She has way more patience than me because this is insane. She has to unbend these little circles and then clip them, and like it's bonkers.
And then make the design the how she wants it to look.
Yeah, it's insane. I don't know how she does it.
Yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube, it's pretty impressive. It's a pretty impressive piece.
Yeah, it's bonkers.
I just thought Logan was doing something different these days.
Nah, I mean, I'm good in it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie.
But anyways, like I was saying, if you're enjoying the other side, we have a treat coming for you over the next 4 months. Starting, I can't remember, is it February 10th? I believe that is the release date. You want to tell them about what's going on?
Yeah, we're gonna have a bonus episode of the other side once every month, and I think the last one's gonna air in May, I believe.
I think you're right.
And it is gonna be where I have every member of TUSOP on individually on the other side, and I'm going to interview them, so you, the listeners, can get to know them a little bit better. It's not gonna be just spooky stuff. You're gonna get to know about the hosts themselves. We're gonna be starting off with the rocker chick, followed up by Golden J, then J-Dub, and then at the end, I myself will be interviewed by Frankie Vegas from the Golden 80s podcast, which I'm looking forward to.
And so is he. Frankie has definitely come on as an interviewer, and I'm excited to give him this opportunity to do this, and he's looking forward to it also. So
I'm just excited for me and Frankie to have some alone time.
I know, right? I'm a little concerned.
It should be rad.
Little bit concerned.
But we figured this would be a good way for everybody to get to know the team a little bit better, because you guys do know everybody pretty well from just like the small talk and everything at the beginning. But it's a good time to have just time set aside for each host to just talk about their lives and what they've done, what they are doing, and what they plan on doing, and just get to know them a little bit better.
Absolutely. I think it's gonna be great. I'm looking forward to it. Although I don't know what you can dig up on me that I haven't already fucking talked about. So.
That's fair. But you've covered bits and pieces of your life on different shows, and not every TUSOP person has probably seen every one of them.
Oh, that is absolutely true.
So I'll wedge it all in here. We'll figure it out. And I guarantee you these interviews will be different lengths depending on who's talking. So
oh yeah, ours will be 2 hours.
yeah,
but,
so if like J-Dubs is like an hour and
like...
30 minutes, and then me and Golden J's is like 3 hours, 4 hours, don't be surprised.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
But it's gonna be fun, and that'll start. You'll get your first one on February 10th, and we're so looking forward to doing it. So
yeah, I'm so.
And hopefully you guys will have some fun with it and get to know J-Dub and the rocker chick a little bit more than just. The fact that J-Dub shits in a bucket, and
I'm excited for it because like I know out of all the hosts, I definitely know more about Golden J than I know about the others because we just talk all the time. When we get together, we don't fucking shut up.
It's true.
I know a good bit about my Aunt Bobbi, not a lot. I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna find some stuff out, but I absolutely know jack shit about J-Dub for the most part, like her whole life. So it'll be interesting. I'll learn as you guys learn. So it'll be great.
Well, and me and the rocker chick learn new things about her every week when we get together. When we sit down and record, we learn all kinds of new things about her also. So, I mean, it'll be fun to see what you come up with and what you can get out of her and what she'll. I mean, she's an open book. It's gonna, it's not gonna be like you're gonna pry it out of her. She's an open book. She's pretty easygoing but yeah, you'll have to. Really kind of get in there and search around and see what you can get out.
Oh, I can't wait. It's going to be dope.
Don't forget, we are working on the Patreon. The target date is April 1st. I am still working on it. We are still recording stuff to go into it. And let me tell you right now, I'm loving what we got put together so far. So I'm not sure exactly how much of this I'm going to release on the opening week, and whether I'm just going to add more stuff every month, and as we keep recording stuff every month, and it's still trial and error, guys. So, but when we get a little bit closer, we'll sit down and talk more about it, and give you all the information and what you can get on each tier that we're going to be putting out, and yeah, it's going to be fun. Hopefully, you guys will want to be a part of that with us, and my hours and hours and hours of work will not make me cry because nobody wants to see it. Hours.
Yeah, so make sure to check.
We're looking forward to it.
Make sure to check it out when it hits. When it goes live. And I don't know, guys. I'm a little disappointed the other side hasn't got any emails.
I know, right?
It's a little hurtful, Like, you guys want to talk to the other team all the time, but you never want to talk to just me and Jeremy. Specifically, you never want to talk to me, which is a little bit hurtful. I'm just saying.
Well, there you go. Just United States Paranormal at gmail.com. Send Logan some love.
Yeah, stop hurting people's feelings. Stop being inconsiderate.
There you have it. There you have it. All right, my man. Are you ready to wrap this up?
Yeah, I need to go cook a pizza and take a leak. That's on my to-do list. So
those are two big items.
They're two important things.
I'm going to wrap up, and I think I'm off to bed.
Yeah, that's fair. Speaking of bed, listeners, if you're out there and you hear something talking to you in the night or a shadowy figure forming at the corner of your eye, pull that blanket over your head. But don't be scared about what's waiting for you on the other side, because it's just me and Golden J waiting for you on the other side.
Later.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to The United States of Paranormal. Check us out at theunitedstatesofparanormal.com or at any other of our social media pages. At Twitter at TOSOPPOD, at Instagram at The United States of Paranormal, or Facebook at The United States of Paranormal, or YouTube at The United States of Paranormal 1795.
Please check out our other podcasts in the Golden Mojo Entertainment Network. The Call Guys, Golden Image Podcast, Indiana Chiefs Fans, The Golden 80s, Murd Nerds, and A Quart of Books and Booze.
And if you have a location you would like us to check into or a creepy story that you would love to tell us, please email us at theunitedstatesofparanormal@gmail.com. Please like, rate, and subscribe wherever you listen.